Bienvenidos, welcome back, hasta mañana, not hasta luego yet. Okay, that's the extent of that my Spanish goes, even though I'm Colombian. We are here to talk about the swing to high pull, or the hike to the high pull. Now, the high pull is not a necessary, like 100% necessary step in your snatch journey, and I don't always teach it. So especially if you're a coach or a trainer that signed up for this, sometimes it does more harm than good. Sometimes it causes more confusion, or it can be discouraging. So it's just sort of understanding, okay, do I really need to teach this? Can I teach the snatch with just the kettlebell clean and just the clean to the overhead press? Or do I think my client's gonna love this? Can we get away with it? Do we think that they're gonna be able to work on their timing and also find that moment of where it is weightless in the air for the high pull, just like it is for the swing? So why would you do the kettlebell high pull? So let me show you with body weight what the kettlebell high pull looks like. You hike back, you snap your hips up, and the bell is floating in the air for a second up here, okay? So the reason to do this is it's the first time that the bell is going to be close to your body or your client's body, but it's floating in the air and it's finding that moment of levitation. And then you're gonna guide the bell back down and then back up. So our clean is here, tucked and safe. Our swing is out here. We're pretty confident with that, but this is the first time that that bell's gonna kind of get some height and then come back down. So let me show you a couple reps of this so you can see what it looks like. I'll try to go on an angle here. So same setup for the kettlebell single arm swing. You're gonna hike it back, punch it up, hike it back, punch it up, hike it back, punch it up, and you can see it's floating here for a second, and then it's coming back down, all right? So I love this movement, and I like to call it a high float, as do many other coaches. I didn't make that up, because a lot of people, when they hear high pull, is all they're gonna do is punch their elbow back. So this is more of doing the robot or something, right? It's also a sharp jab, like you're elbowing the person behind you in the subway. That might initially help clients, but it's not as effective as helping them get to the kettlebell snatch. So what we really want to do is think about, rather than a backwards motion, think about an up motion where the fist is leading up, floating for a second, and coming back down. So we're floating and coming back down. So there's a difference here than there is here. See that difference? So high float, not high pull or punch back, okay? The reason why this is important also is because it is hard to time the moment that this bell is floating with your hip lockout, okay? So as it comes up, da, 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 locked, floating, locked, floating. So if you're kind of hesitant about it, that bell's either gonna fall all over the place, or you're not gonna have that moment of floating and locked outness. So this is a great drill for timing. A lot of people say that it also teaches you that this can easily equal this. So instead of stopping, if you punched your hand through and let the bell go from our hook grip that we've been talking about into the spear, then you would essentially be doing a kettlebell snatch, okay? So fun drill for that. If you'd like to try some on the right and the left side, then please show me. I'd love to see them. And once it's up here, all you're doing is guiding it back down, remembering that this is the green zone and this is the red zone. So you don't want to lose control. You want to keep it high in the crotch when you're going up and down. Now, what would be something that, why wouldn't we want to do this? And the reason for that is that this is not exactly the kettlebell snatch. The kettlebell snatch zips up down your middle. So when we're doing the high pull, we're bringing the bell out here, which is a bit of a lie. This is not where the snatch happens. The snatch happens closer to your center line. And essentially, you kind of get this gooseneck on the way down and this gooseneck on the way up. So it is somewhat accurate, But I find for the most part, the kettlebell's coming out here and the butt of that kettlebell is displaying to the world. Your knuckle equals the butt of the kettlebell. So it's a little different from the snatch where things are gonna be more in a direct line to yourself, okay? That's all the time that I'm gonna spend on the kettlebell high pull because it's fun and it's nice and it's a cool party trick and it has its own use and place in the world, but it is not vital to your training. What I do wanna talk about before we leave is one concept that's gonna tie it all together in a nice bow. And this is the concept of what is the same between the swing, snatch, clean, and high pull. And that is going to be your setup and all the cues that we've been doing from going bottom to top up. So the cue that your feet are going to be grounded into the floor with your tripod foot. The cue that you're gonna have a soft bend in your knees, but your hips are gonna be higher and you wanna be able to feel your hamstrings with that little bounce. And of course, chest is higher than hips as well for that setup. So basically your setup is going to be the same. So the next thing is your breath is also going to be the same, right? So if I hike the bell back, everything is the same until this moment. At this time, I should be able to, if I was like a crazy coach, I might have everybody line up on a line. Can you tell that this is like a dream of mine? Everybody lines up on the line, everybody's in position, and I say, set, hike, and then I can say swing, or I could say snatch, or I could say high pull, and it wouldn't matter. How cool is that? That is so cool. So the setup for the single arm of any of those movements is the same. It's just what happens next and the arc of the bell that is going to change, okay? So I want to back up for a second and then we'll get to the arc of the bell. I did say the breath is the same. So remember, you're always going to set up and then inhale back, exhale swing, exhale snatch, exhale clean, and then lock out, okay? So that exhale, when you're swinging, it's like, it's a sharp, executed through your mouth exhale with an inhale through your nose. When you clean, when you snatch, okay? So every time I want you to understand that that hip snap and that momentum of coming up and then locking out comes with your exhale. That breathing pattern is going to be so important to your success in kettlebells, okay? Great, let's move it on to the arc. So there is a thing in kettlebells that is called taming the arc. And so the arc can be in the kettlebell swing where you're going like this and it's plopping over. You wanna tame that arc by, instead of allowing your arm to be out here and just plopping over and your elbow being wherever, keeping it super close to your body. And that's gonna tame the arc, meaning that there's not that much of it. And a kettlebell swing, it's all arc, baby. It's all, so if you think of my body as a line, just a straight line, like pretend it's drawn on paper with a black line. There's like a half circle here. That could be your arc, this half circle right here. And the kettlebell swing follows that circle up to the midpoint of the circumference and connects the dot to the end of that circle that's coming through here. So that is a big, it's a big arc, okay? You don't want that for the snatch. For the snatch, you're taming that arc. Instead of going to the end point of the circle, you're gonna kinda stay closer to your body. And on the way down, your arm's gonna wanna go out here where the kettlebell swing goes, but you also have to keep it close to your body. And that is why a big difference between the kettlebell swing, the clean, and the snatch is the level of arc that happens. The clean has the least arc, the snatch has a little, and the swing has the full arc, okay? So those are our concepts that are gonna tie everything together. You can see the setup and how you hike the bell back and breathe, and your foot positioning and your gaze, all of that stays the same. So that should be a huge relief because we already know so much that we've covered in the last couple of days. But what we do to get to the bottom and what we do to get to the top is about to change. So I can't wait to go over all that with you tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Get a good night's sleep, hydrate, eat your protein, and I'll see you in the morning.